one. Do you want to do a little dance with me, Dave, just to start it off with? A little Fortnite dance. Okay, cool. That was good enough. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the episode of Sparks Fly that has been, I think it's only been a year since I last did it. I'm going to be putting some of the little clips and bits and bobs on my main channel, which you would see probably from the start to lead you over to Sparks Fly. I'm myself in the house, and I've got Mr. David Savery. We all know who Dave is, DSCS Electrical. It's a bit on the fly on the bit of the whim, wasn't it, really? I just texted you earlier and said you fancy coming on tonight, and here we are.
To be fair, mate, you texted me yesterday and said you fancy doing it tonight, and I was like, mate, I'm drunk.
Yeah, the text didn't make sense, if I'm honest. Yeah, I've written down a few topics because we've obviously chatted and spoken quite a lot, really, in the background on YouTube, and we're still yet to try and get together to do a video together. I keep saying, Dave, I've got another rewire. Come, you and Nigel, come and help me. Let's come and do a video. And Dave's response is, I'm too old and tired to do rewires. I'm happy to come and fit a double socket. I think that's pretty much the gist of it, isn't it?
Tempting though it sounds to travel halfway to the freezing cold north to do a rewire job. I think that, I've got my comforts around here, like the pub and, well, Nigel's in the traveller. Do what?
You got your little coffee shop in the morning, little sippy.
You know what? They changed their opening hours. They don't open until 10 o'clock now. It's just like, I think that was just to get rid of us.
That's the time you pretty much get up for work, though, isn't it?
Yeah. But our pub has started opening really early now and doing full English breakfast, like £3.75 or something. So yeah, years are being taken off my life at that pub, and all my wages are being spent there.
Well, that's the thing I had because we've been working away in London. We did some stuff in Nottingham, and I said to Adam, I have no knowledge or experience of working away. So I said to him, when we go away, I will pay for your breakfast and I'll pay for your tea. So for people around the Midlands, tea is your dinner in the evening. Your breakfast is obviously in the morning. Adam pays for his own lunch because either way, if we were at home or we were, working away, he would pay for his lunch anyway. I pay for the accommodation. He gets extra wages for working away from home. He's really happy with it. It's long ass days, but it's an enjoyable experience. But the places we've been staying in for most mornings, except for like the last 2 mornings where we woke up and we were like, we're so tired. The last thing we wanted to do is eat full English, but it was like £11.50 each.
Ouch. Yeah, some of these hotels are just mad.
Yeah, and the problem with Ad as well, because he's only a little lad. He's tall, but he's thin. He doesn't eat a lot. He doesn't eat a lot, but he eats often. He's one of them people. And so I would go, I'll have 2 sausages, I'll have 2 rashers of bacon, I'll have 2 hash browns, I'll have black pudding, I'll have some beans, maybe some toast on the side, some tea. But I hate tomatoes and mushrooms. Can't stand that. Vile stuff.
I was just going to say, whoever wants to eat the frigging tomato? Why is there always a tomato there?
And it's always all the devil juice leaks out of it. It goes all and makes everything.
Tomato and give me some extra mushrooms.
No, well, I do. I can stomach mushrooms if I have to, but I would, if I had the option, I would just go, no, I don't want them on plate. But we'll literally go, I'll have a sausage, maybe a rasher of bacon, I'll have 2 hash browns and beans, right? Sorry, I missed off as well eggs. So I have eggs, fried or scrambled. You have a full English. You have a full English. Adam literally has a kid's breakfast. And I say this to the woman, and she's just there like, so you want a kid's breakfast? I was like, oh, do you do bread? No. Right, okay. So I still pay £12 for Adam then to have a child's breakfast. But he does this at McDonald's, though. Like, if I'll order a double sausage egg muffin meal with a toffee latte and hash brown, and Adam will go, oh, can I have the same? And I'll go, okay. And then he'll tap me on the shoulder and go, oh, no egg. Right, okay. Oh, and a hot chocolate, no coffee. And then we'll get to the thing and he goes, can you get me a stir and a ketchup? Every time. And now the woman at McDonald's, the local one to us, there's actually 3 in Stafford for no apparent reason. But the one we go to more often than not, she already knows what's coming. And now I walk up to the till and go, oh, can I have this? And for the child, can I have this? And she already knows what I'm going to order. Yeah, children. But it's one of them. We've completely gone off tangent. But yeah, it costs a lot to work away. And I've obviously said this on EGT. It's probably come out by now, or maybe not. But it's an enjoyable experience. But with young kids, it does suck. And I feel sorry for people I feel empathy towards people that miss out on a lot of their kids growing up because their whole job is working away from home. They miss out on a lot of stuff. They're back on the weekends and then they're back off. And what is nice with nowadays is technology with FaceTime, and you're always in contact, which is nice. But when my dad used to do it when I was younger, there was none of that. We would see him literally on a Saturday morning all the way through to a Sunday. And every time he used to get up for work, get back from work, we were already in bed. Which,
I don't have a lot of experience, but I did a contract in 2002 back in my previous life, where I was sent around all four corners of the country. And at the time, my daughter was like 3 years old.
Yeah.
Well, probably 2 years old actually. And yeah, I know what you mean. And the trouble as well is probably different today to a certain extent. Is that back then, because it was a sort of 9 to 5 job, or it was an office. Yeah. It was supporting offices. So at 5 o'clock you got kicked out and you went to your hotel, and you didn't have the distraction of YouTube and Pornhub and all the other wonders of the internet you get today.
What was that second one?
I'll send you some links, mate, to some choice content.
Magic.
You didn't have all that sort of stuff back then. You had such the real basics of the internet. If you need, you could get on it because places didn't have Wi-Fi. You didn't have flash mobile phones. You may have had a smartphone, but you weren't going to get much out of it.
Yeah, I remember.
I used to just go down to the hotel bar and just drink myself stupid.
Well, this is what I've been doing, to be fair, because annoyingly, when we worked in Nottingham, great internet, like no problem at all. Phone signal was fantastic, but it was when the Euros were on, and it was one night. I'm not going to tell many people how much I had to drink, but it was my fair share. And it was really funny because we watched the game and we were sort of packing up. It literally just after the game, I said, right, we've had enough. I think it was about 6 pints I had, but with a meal, it had been several hours building up. And as we were walking out, a guy tapped me on the shoulder and went, hi, mate, really sorry to interrupt. I can see you're on the way out. But can you say hi to my friend because he watches you on YouTube? And,
no way.
I was like, all right, okay, this is cool. And Adam looked at me and rolled his eyes. Was like, okay.
You say that, but I bet you were there with your fucking Batman hat.
I was there. I was like,
your Batman hat and your Nick Bundy YouTube logo on your back.
This is it. Yeah. Want an autograph? £10? Yeah, no problem. I've got some pre-made up for you. And we sat down. He was like, "Can I buy you a drink?" So we sat and chatted for another hour. It was really, really cool, really, really nice. But yeah, it was it was just, we found now most places we go, someone will notice us or beep at us or wave at us, because there's been a few times where we've been a bit like, oh, why is that car beeping us? And they'll come past and they'll start waving, and we're like, right, okay, there we go. That's it. Obviously, it's more noticeable on my old van with the sign writing, but nowadays it's big green ladders on the top of the roof and a bit of a done-up Ford. Well, my reg plate gives it away most of the time. A customer actually picked me up on it the other day. So my reg for my van is B16NBB. But if you take that out, I mean, I'll put something on the screen now. If you were to mark out the middle of the second B, and she was like, "You're a confident lad, aren't you, Nick?" And I was like, "Sorry." She went, "What your van says, you're putting it out there." I was like, "It's actually my name, my middle name, but never mind." It was a thought of when I was 18. My auntie bought me on my reg plate, and I looked at the time. I thought, 18-year-old, that's funny. Yeah, we'll go for that. And then I've kept it ever since. And now it's like, oh God, Jesus. Now customers are picking up on it. But going off track, I can't remember what we're talking about then, to be honest. We've written down a few things that we want to sort of discuss and get onto. And Dave came up with a great idea about 15 minutes ago. So he's put some people on Twitter. Put some questions.
I've asked on Twitter what people want to talk about. And that one, we got some replies. And here's a good one from Enrico Salad.
Go on then.
MK Logic Rapid Fix, Electricians Boon, or simply encouragement for Joe Homebase, such as myself, to give socket fiddling a go. Now,
and that's funny because that's what I've got written right on my notepad here as well. So that's a good start.
It is certainly the hot topic. And in fact, as we speak, it's the Twitter timeline, quite outside of what we're discussing, is quite a buzz with it.
Yes, and Instagram today.
Yeah, it's because there's been talk about this sort of thing for some time, hasn't there?
It's ever since, I think, eFix. So Gaz, a
Yes, I
long
saw
time
that video.
ago,
They
stuck the back of
super glued some.
lever connectors to the back of that's what, Dave, you got me. Some lever connectors to the back of a double socket, and it went around like wildfire, didn't it? And we were like, when's this going to happen? Because this is a great idea. Really, I was fully supported it and thought it was going to be cool. And obviously, it's come about that the brand, other than Ideal, have partnered up with them to make the lever connectors and put them in. And I was completely unaware with this because obviously very recently as well, I can say to everyone, I did some sponsor stuff with MK. They sent me their new basic range, base range, sorry. And hand on heart, it was great stuff. And a lot of people in the comments said to me, well, we need to see what JW said in the past. He rinsed them apart, but that was 2 years ago, and that was a completely different range. That was a lot of Chinese stuff, and it was. And I watched the video that people tagged me in, and it was trash. The stuff that they were putting out, it was real thin garbage. But I don't know, this is good stuff, and I've got a stock of it in the van, and we've been using it every now and then. And the rewire I've just done in London, he specifically requested this stuff, and we were fitting it, and you can't go wrong. MK, the majority of the stuff they bring out is solid. It looks nice. It's got the velvet edges. It's got a nice click on the rockers. You can't go wrong. But now they brought this out, I would have thought they would have got into contact with me in the background and said, we've got this stuff coming out. I was completely unaware until it literally dropped yesterday. And I actually bought some. Yeah, so I managed to buy some from Screwfix. I bought a box of 5, and I think it was 26 quid. I think it was I paid. We had to play in the unit, and then we had to go with the sockets. And I didn't play with it a bit more because he put some 1mm in it because we had a bit of an off cut. We were with Amy because Amy came to help us out, and we were pulling it and messing around with it. I wasn't interested too much because I was trying to do 100 other things. And the consensus are it looks nice. It's an MK front. It's a great idea that I can see that they've put in the back of it. Pros and cons, I would say. Pros, it's a quicker termination. It's screwless. It will only allow people realistically to ever run a ring in and 1 spur out rather than people jamming 5 cables in the back, which we've all seen before. Negatives. What would you say negatives are, Dave?
Having not actually played with one, it's hard to say. Yeah, it's one of those things that I saw, and being the dinosaur that I am, I thought, I don't know if I like this. But I've got nothing against it, to be honest. And I wonder if we're on the back foot again in the UK, as we often are, because again on Twitter we have Marcel German, whose German flag, who presumably means he's over on the continent there, who's saying that it's been something that they've had over there for years. It's not something
really?
new, so it's obviously new to us. But
how we always last to get stuff like this. I remember watching Jordan's video with is it French or Italian Electrics or whatever it was. The video we did that went viral very quickly. We did a really good video on it, and the stuff they had in their fuse board was way beyond the stuff we had.
Yeah, I can't even. SBS video with the dual buzz bar system. It's like, this is great. I really like this. And again, I had people commenting from the continent going, we've had that for years.
But it makes sense with stuff with the dual buzz bar. Get rid of fly leads, less mess in the board, easy peasy, another one in the back. What?
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
I'm really getting. I don't do many CU changes, but I've just had my 3rd one delivered for installation. So
what's the make of that board?
That's SBS. In fact, I've got. They've just changed their breakers. There you go. Breaking news on Nick Bundy's channel. They've now, because the breakers before in my video was sort of a half size thing. Where's my camera? It's up there. And now a full size thing, double pole breaker. Yeah. But the great thing about that, of course, is it looks like it's got a button there. It's not. It's just a plastic piece. Is that
an RCBO?
No, that's a breaker. That's an MCB.
Right. Sorry.
That's an RCBO. So they look identical. It's just that one's got a blue button you can push. Sorry, the camera's looking out very well. And one's just got a plastic piece.
Yeah.
So they look identical.
And what's the costings on them? What's the cost for an RCBO? Top of your head.
I can't remember. I think it's about something like 60 quid. It's comparable to fuse box.
Oh, right. Sound then. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
And you see these things, and you get these messages from people on the continent going, well, we've had it for ages. And you think, well, why are we always last to get it? It's the same with AFDDs. They've been around in other countries for a long time, and it's whether or not they're a good idea is still remains to be seen. But we come along going, oh, look at all this new stuff. This is weird, isn't it? And then you just get these messages from people going, oh, we've done them for ages.
I had a German guy
UK.
that used to comment on every single one of my videos. I think he stopped in the end, and he used to just slate, not, I wouldn't say myself, but literally the British wiring, like, this is ridiculous, why are you doing this? And I think when I put a FlexiCon video on, he was like, oh, finally, yeah. And I was like, yeah, mate, sound, yeah, I got you, but FlexiCon do it. And then the next video was hatred. I was like, okay. And I think he gave up, and I think he started going to Jordan's channel, but, you know, up with the game a little bit. But
that's all right. Jordan can have him.
Yeah, in fact. Right, I'll read a few of my stuff on here. Sorry, so going back to MK, I'm yet to try it. I am going to do a video on it. I could potentially do a video with Dave, potentially, because you've got a few days set free, possibly. There's some stuff going on in the background.
We could do a little shit chat, couldn't we?
That's right. You got a stall.
Obviously, you want something on your channel, so maybe not.
No, it's fine. To be fair, me and Dave have met. We met up in ELX very briefly 2 years ago, but then myself, Dave, and Jamie Beck went to the construction week. Was it?
Yeah, where James didn't win Electrician of the Year,
but it was good fun, and it was. We got to spend the whole day together. No, they were not.
And the pizzas were very expensive. And every time we sat in the VIP area with our VIP passes, some snooty woman would come along and tell us to piss right off.
Yeah, what are you doing in here? I was like, well, we've got things.
Like tradespeople.
Got things, please. Let's stay. But yeah, so we could potentially. I'll put it on the back burner because I'm off on holiday for a bit soon. So once we come back, we'll sort of day out, and I'll come up with this stuff, and we can have a bit of a prod and a poke with them, and maybe play with the MK sockets as well.
Just quickly, Jacob Kelly says, what's your favourite flavour of Monster?
I would say I love the original, if I'm honest, the standard black and green can, but I'm trying to cut down because I'm getting fat. I really like the sugar-free apple one. That's really, really nice.
You're getting fat. I'm growing tits at this end. It's getting ridiculous.
I can hide it well. It's good lighting, you see. Getting the jawline in. Normally, if I sit straight on, it's gone. Right, listen, I've got absolutely ridiculous amount on Instagram. Spark for Life, pineapple on pizza. Thoughts? I thought they were going to be electrical questions, but never mind.
I don't mind a good Hawaiian.
To be fair, like I detest tomato-based pizzas. Ever since years ago I had barbecue-based, and I've stuck with it because I don't really like the taste of tomato too much. I can eat ketchup, but like tomatoey things, not my thing. But I used to have pineapple on pizza, and it never really bothered me. But one thing I don't like, if you order a curry, like my mate's obsessed with it, you get a massive chunk of pineapple rings in the curry. What were you doing? No, I take him straight out, and he's there pinching off my plate and eating them. I thought, well, you're disgusting. Don't talk to me ever again.
You see, for pizza, anchovies. I do like a good strong fish. So anchovies on my pizzas, if you please.
Really?
Oh yeah,
right,
yeah.
Well, and definitely not coming your house.
And there's loads of pizza places you go to where they're just not on the menu. And you're like, do you have anchovies? And they go, no, because nobody else asks for it.
I'm not surprised.
I really like anchovies.
Okay. I'm trying to read your name here, dude. Tim Alima. If I can find it, I'll put it on the screen now. If you had to switch to another trade, which would you pick and why? Go on, you first.
Oh, I don't know.
We definitely won't be a plumber because they stink.
But they're rich.
Well, yeah. Another trade. I'd say chippy. I trained to be a carpenter with my granddad years ago. He was a carpenter, and that's what I wanted to do. So I like woodworking. I've got lots of woodworking tools that I do nothing with anymore. So I'd say chippy, yeah.
I don't know, maybe painting.
No, no. My dad was a painter. You do not want to do that.
No,
it's the repetitiveness.
I can do a competent job of in my own home. I can't say I enjoy it very much. I'm just trying to think more. Not what I'd want to do, but what I could perhaps apply my basic competencies at, and I can just about paint a wall and ceiling without making a complete dog's dinner of it.
Right, chippy, paper decorator.
I'd say what I wish I had done is electronics. I'd be a big guy by now if I'd have because I really had an interest in electronics, and I just never
Followed it up.
pursued it. Yeah, went into the career went off on a different tangent, and I wish if I had my time again, I would do electronics at college and make sure I got into the electronics industry. I'd love to be able to. I'd love to have the skill that the likes of your Big Clive have got, your SDG Electronics, your Defcom Electronics, all those kind of guys on YouTube, just pulling stuff apart, able to explain exactly how it works, how to improve it, how to fix it, that sort of stuff. That should have been me. That's what
Yeah,
that's
see,
my
I'm the
career.
opposite. Even when we were doing it at college, obviously I didn't do an apprenticeship. I just did the 3 years, and we had to do a little bit of electronics, and I absolutely detested it. I'm good at science. I got an A in science, so that's one of my strong subjects with that, and not geography. Christ, I'm terrible with geography. As you know, I thought Leamington Spa was north. What was the other one? Oh, maths. I'm good at maths. English, obviously, I'm quite dyslexic, so that went out the window. But I just I couldn't wrap my head around electronics. Just didn't like it, didn't enjoy it. But then when they in school, when they brought the plugs out, they were like, "Oh, can you wire a plug?" And I was like, "No, but I'm going to give it a go." Now look at me. Go on. I've got a few more. I've got loads. So you do two. I'll do two, mate.
I'm just going back to the MK sockets because there's still discussion on here coming through where WBB Electrical he sees it as a bad thing. He thinks that MK have rather let the side down, and that it makes it dumbs down socket installations. A lot of people aren't agreeing with that, although they are sort of saying that, what's Jacob Kelly saying? Although it's easier, Joe Homebase can still use a screwdriver, still has to for screwing it back. And surely it's safer for Joe Homebase because it's the correct pressure on the conductors instead of an untrained hand. That's my opinion.
And I must say, I mean, I said this a while back on one of the podcasts where obviously we've got torque settings for fuse boards and all that sort of stuff, the different terminals. And at what point are we going to get them in the back of sockets and switches? And you could obviously make this massive list, obviously, in the back of different conductor size, if it's going to be solid core, if it's going to be multi-strand. They're obviously going to be different tightening settings, but when is that going to come in place? But straight away with the MK, with the quick release, the lever connectors, it's taking all that out completely. It's like, right, there's the right pressure.
Yeah, exactly. So that's your loose connections gone. So when you come to do your ring end to ends and you find that R2 is way out compared to R1 and RN, as it always is, then you've got a better chance of that not happening with these type of connectors. I don't go for the argument really that it makes it easier for the DIYs. Sure, it makes it easier for everyone. But
if anything, it makes it easier for the DIYs, but it also makes it safer. And there's nothing worse than when a DIYer or anyone does something, there's a loose connection and something happens with that. At least this way, we know for DIYs or professionals that we've got correct torque setting on there, and hopefully people have cut it to the right length so the conductor's not hanging out. We're going to get less fires or faults or vibrations or heating up from that appliance.
If someone's going to have a go, then they're just as capable of doing up a screw as operating a lever connection. By the way, Dale Stakey McCarthy asks if you finally realised you're no longer 16 and ditched the cap. I saw in your last video your one where the customer didn't pay you. Or no, customer messed you around and you were going to invoice them. That you've got the most horrific Tintin-esque haircut.
Everyone keeps saying it looked like I've cut my hair. See, the thing is, I got my hairdresser, a friend of the family around, and she did all the sides, everything, started doing the top, and she says, "What about the fringe?" I was like, "I'm not bothered to wear my hat, just leave it." Completely unaware of how long the fringe is, like genuinely. So I thought the next day, I thought, I won't put my hat on. You know, when you wash your hair after you've had a shower, and I thought, oh yeah, sound. And in the morning, in my mirror, my days of waking up, I thought, yeah, sound looks all right. And then I got the camera out, and obviously with my new camera, I was looking at it like, there's a real flick on this. Like, so I was trying to pull it out of the way, but I did 2 videos. I did one in the morning talking about that bit, and then the one in the afternoon talking about prepping the van and everything. And it was only that halfway through the second video, I was like, I've got to put my hat back on. So I found one in the van and stuck it on backwards. I was like, that is terrible. But then literally that night, I just got my hair, I pulled it down, my fringe went to here on my bottom lip. And I was like, that is awful. So I just cut it literally to my eyes and just started up. I was like, yeah.
It comes to something when your haircut is worse than mine.
yeah, fact. But I did, I did what you did the other week. Just before we went to Nottingham, and it's only realised with the back of my head, like wear a hat. I never see it. Like you won't really see the back of your head, but when we're filming YouTube videos, if I've got it on the side or I'm turning around or Adam's filming me, I can see when I'm editing the back of my head. And I didn't have time to get a haircut, and it was getting quite long. And I thought, and now I'm fat as well. I get like a fat roll at the back of my hat.
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw your picture on the front of Professional Electrician, mate.
That's my pocket. That's not a belly. And my other half is like, "What are you doing?" And I come out of the bathroom. She was like, what have you done?" And I left my hat on, and I got my beard trimmer and trimmed all the back of it, like literally skinned it all the way around. So when I'm wearing a hat, it looks like I got a fresh new cut. I took it off, and I did what you did. I did the biggest line. So she then sat there, because I don't have any hair trimmers, sat there with my beard trimmer that I don't have, and just like sort of tried to shape it out and was like, "You look ridiculous." I was like, that's desperation, that is. That's desperation. Right, I've got a question here from BT Electrical Services. Does YouTube pay the mortgage?
Does it, bollocks?
Just for me, not for Dave. The difference between me and Dave is I put a lot of kind of content out. I'm treating YouTube as it's a love project. It's a hobby. I do enjoy it, but it's equally it's another business for myself that goes towards the family and what I'm trying to build up to something else and grow things. So I have obviously sponsored videos, I have adverts, I do a lot of content, and that's the way I want to sort of push it in that direction. Dave does this absolutely for shits and gigs. He enjoys it because he does it because he enjoys it, and you're not that bothered, are you?
No, I think there are a couple of ways you can play it, and obviously you're playing it the correct way in terms of
Thank you.
Sponsor friendliness and
trying not to swear, but we both swore on this one.
Yeah,
so
yes, politeness, something that can be shown in the classroom. So I know I get messages from lecturers saying, "Oh, I thought that video you did really good, but I can't show it to my students because of the language." And yes, I could choose to make it all more accessible, but you've got to have.
That takes the personality out. This is it. People like you for you, and I'm trying to real life. You've met me before we started recording. I'm a potty mouth in real life, and all my friends and family know this. But cheers, Dave. I just try and rail it in a little bit because I want. With YouTube, if you guys don't know, if you swear on YouTube, YouTube picks up the swear words and actually shows it to less people, either under the age of 16. I make sure my videos don't go out to kids because you can tick that box when you upload it. So I'm making sure that I'm not getting anyone below 10 watching me mess with electric. So hopefully they don't go and do it. But it allows me to put videos out where, imagine my situation where I'm sat now watching my phone. My daughter's sat next to me watching Peppa Pig on the telly. My lads are watching their iPads, and I'm watching one of Dave's videos loud, and every other word is a swear word, or there's a picture of Jordan doing things, or there's a picture of mine and Adam's faces doing several things, and loads of little swear words are popping out in the background, and I don't want my kids to hear that. So I'm trying to say, when I do a video, I want to be able to, the guy that wants to watch my videos, he can watch it family friendly and then don't have to worry about swearing. I
think, yeah, so people have to realize what kind of content you put out. And I know, for example, Tom Nagy, he had one, because I don't know, does he normally swear in his videos? I think
yeah, occasionally, yeah, like every now and then.
Yeah. I know he dropped the C-bomb at the end of one of his, and I saw some guy saying, "I was watching this with my son. I'm absolutely outraged." And I think, you know, if you, I think you've got to sort of watch yourself a bit there, haven't you? If you, yeah.
There's specific words you cannot say, I would say, and that is one of them. But it's your own. It's your channel. You do what you want, and it's up to the people watch it with their discretion. If they know that that sort of language can be used, then it's up to them to be careful of who they watch it around, or wear headphones.
But yes, if you play it right, as Nick does, as Jordan does, then I imagine it can be quite lucrative. If you play it like me, then you get a free Armand mug and a free Klein Tools hat. And you don't get a lot else.
It's been really good for me. And at one point I did say I wanted to do an analytics video of how much I earn per video and whatnot. But I got so many people saying they don't want me to do it. That probably would want to know, but a lot of people, unfortunately, are jealous of people doing well, and it would possibly damage the channel. And you know, I can say it could easily pay for my mortgage 3 times over from what I earn off YouTube a month. But equally, you need to understand the amount of hours and time that we put into it as man hours.
Do you
Then you
still edit
convert that.
video?
Yeah, so the one's done
yourself?
recently in London, Kip has done for me, but I've had to pay him to do that anyway. So it says so much time goes into it. So if you convert that to, let's say, minimum wage of how many hours putting into video and editing and all that sort of stuff, that
Oh yeah,
itself is a wage itself to
really
pay.
time.
So
I mean, I got so much that's been half edited, and I've just no time to finish off. Absolutely hours and hours and hours of stuff. Just no time to do it.
And that's unfortunately, I'm lucky enough that when I film something, I know I can get it edited in 2 days and get it up. And a lot of the stuff I can put up on my members bit on YouTube. The guys can look at it first, get some feedback off them. If anything I need changing or anything they say, the sound audio is a bit like this on this bit or this, and it's not happened yet because I'm quite anal about making sure the audio is as best as it can be before I put it up. But it's a good little thing that they can see it beforehand. When it goes live, I can sort of know the reaction I'm going to get from people. We've got Big Al 35. Is the rusty backbox making a comeback?
No.
No, it's not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would happily do something with me and Dave more often, just doing this, because this is just so much more natural with me and him trying to act and get a guest on and whatnot. It was good fun, but it was very
it was fun. It was all right for the 6 episodes we did, but there was a lot of editing involved,
which I did none, so it was
planning. Fun. Yeah, and it just the reason why there was quite a big delay with the last couple of episodes was just again finding the time.
Yeah. Finding the time, finding the right guest.
All right, but then it's just got hard to find the time, and that's the problem with it, isn't it? So
go on.
No, not unless someone pays for the time.
Yeah, to be fair, I'd rather do the rusty backbox when you and me actually go and sit in a pub.
Yeah,
so much easier.
When COVID was on, wasn't it? We had
that was it.
Attend our pub sessions virtually.
Go on, what you got for me?
I've got a serious one here. A serious one. Lee says licensing of electricians and methods to increase accountability, protection for installers from rogue customers. I wish I knew the answer to that one. I mean, licensing, some kind of licensing scheme. I've always said that there should be a graded system for electricians.
Like a drama license. That's what you said, wasn't it?
Yeah. So there should be a path where you've got something at a sort of an entry level, perhaps at the DI sort of level, which has clear boundaries of what you ought to be doing to be working within your competencies if you're registered with a CPS at that level, but also a clear upgrade path to get to the next level, and so on, right up to something that's above us all, right up into the sort of electrical design
masters.
What you might have for someone designing a commercial installation, an industrial installation. There should be these gradings, these paths. You can come along and go say, I'm a grade D electrician and that entitles me to do these sort of jobs.
X, Y, Z, Joe.
Then you don't end up sort of overstepping your boundaries, and the CPSs ought to be policing that. Will it ever happen? Probably not.
No. And
they
this
are
is one
supposed
of
to be tightening up though, aren't they, the CPSs? And
I've heard they're getting rid of the fast track. Are they getting rid of the fast track stuff and the Part P?
It's going to be hard to get in just on the fast track alone. They also want to see evidence of CPD throughout the year so you can demonstrate that you are keeping abreast of.
Is this for continued members, or is this just only for new members?
No, this is continued members. So I've just had my NIC assessment last week.
Yeah.
And for that, I prepared a CPD record. Now, when we talk about CPD, we're not necessarily talking about official courses where you're getting a certificate saying you've got so many minutes attended on this course, although that is part of it. And the likes of NIC, I presume NAPIT are the same, and the other CPSs, they're doing webinars that you can attend.
Yeah.
So you attend the webinar. At the end of it, you get a certificate that says, congratulations, you attended the webinar for fault finding part 1 or whatever. Here's your 50 minutes for CPD certificate. But outside of that, you can record the publications you're reading, for example. So on my CPD form, my log, it says, okay, I attended this webinar on this date and got 50 minutes. And I picked up a copy of Professional Electrician, which had these articles in it and list the key articles.
Oh, go on, Dave. Oh, there he is. There he is. Oh, wow. Wow. Well, no. Right. And if you closely inspect that, my left pocket of my jacket was open. Okay. And it looks like I've got a right belly on me. And I can tell you right now on that picture. Thanks, mate. But no, my take on that question would be, I would like to see personally is every electrician obviously has a registered number. And I personally think if it was ever possible that all wholesalers or anywhere that sells, let's narrow this down just to fuse boards. Every fuse board will have a certificate number. Every electrician should have a certificate number, a registration number that will only be sold to that person. So there should be an absolute catalog somewhere, a backlog or a website where we can, sorry, I'm playing with this thing. My daughter left it in my room earlier. I've got hair clips. I've got a nice little juice cup. She kept I was trying to be on the phone earlier. She kept trying to put my sunglasses on me. But when I buy this fuse box board from my very local wholesaler, which is electrical, I need one. We'll get this right. The registration number on this fuse board is going to be 0.412. My registration number is 41723, whatever. That will then get put on a database, sent to this database online, and you can look at it. So any fuse board, if you go, and it can only be sold to people that are registered with a company or a CPS, there's a trace with it. We can then have our seals that we can put them on, tamper seals, and this is potential, but once that board's fitted and we've certificated that, we've put our seals on, we're making sure we're doing our test certificates correctly, how many points we've got, obviously all of our different calculations and our measurements. And what I like to do on the certificates as well, pictures of here, there, and everywhere. Obviously, there's plastic outlets, there's no metal ones. If there's anything ever to happen with this board, then obviously we're backed up with all our information we put in. It would just stop Bob the Builder or anyone DIYs buying their own fuse board, fitting a garage board, doing this, because they won't have a card to say I can buy this. But I know there'd be so many backroot systems, but it's something like that I would like to see potentially put in place just to help out the electrical trade with stopping builders or non-electricians fitting boards, because that's in my area, that's one of the most dangerous things in a house that is done badly, that causes fires, rather than loose connections and sockets and whatnot.
Oh yeah. I mean, we got called out onto a job last week. It took hours of fault finding on this absolute gash installation, kitchen fit a nightmare, and this poor old, well, it was a BG board, metal BG board, had been stuck in. No certification or anything, I'm sure. The lady had just bought the house 6 months ago, so she hadn't had it checked over or anything. It was just an abomination. It was just a right old mess, the way it had been done. And you look at it and think, who did that? And then stood back on me and thought, well, that's all right. It's just, I don't know where to go with that. One thing I would like to see for accountability, and I mentioned this on Amendment 2 DPC, so you can expect that to get completely ignored by the IET, is that stupid inspection and testing sticker that comes with every fuse board. That date of last inspection, date of next inspection. What does that tell you? Nothing. There was one of those on this BG board. Doesn't tell you who installed it, what certificate it was registered to, what CPS scheme they were registered with. Of course, they weren't registered with anybody. So you look at that and think, well, how am I to go by those dates? How am I to get to say that?
Impossible.
It is clearly this installation has not been inspected and tested. It's just been bodily upgraded.
Cash in the hand, off you go.
Bad board. That sticker is useless, and I fail to understand why the IET year after year bring out updates, amendments to the regulations and never change it. Just add these extra 2 lines saying installed by.
I know.
Number.
And I was trying to have this thing with Adam, because we go to so many boards where most of the time it's not really BG, or MK boards or the old style ones or you go even further back, you look at the ones that rewirable fuses, and we've got company brand, like nice stickers with company logos and names that were done 30, 40 years ago.
It's some of the really old ones are like
They're
metal and stuff,
really, really good. And then you fast forward 25
old.
years. Yeah,
but even that doesn't have all the information it should, because it says refers to certificate. What it should say on there is it should mention whether this has been applied for just one circuit or for both circuits, or whether it applies to the whole board, or whether it applies to a report or a certificate. So I need to change that again with even more information, because you look at that on a board and it gives you.
I would look at that if you stuck that on the fuse board and I'd go, DSES has changed this fuse board.
Yeah, all the details are on there, as well as the certificate or report reference. So if someone buys the house and they go, oh wow, we don't have any paperwork for this, they can contact me, and I can pull it out of my records for them.
Which is a really good thing. It is, but there's so many now. I've got stickers, and I think it should be a regulation where any new fuse board fitted needs to have a company logo, a name, an address, and everything on it. So, I mean, I know you could easily just rip them off, but we like to do it. It looks professional from our point of view for the customers. My name's plastered all over fuse boards. When we do any ICR, whenever I stick my sticker on, saying next date of inspection, and obviously every now and then we chuck some stickers on saying the color changes and the RCD test.
As well.
Do you know what I mean? But we make sure we put on that saying, and the ICR was carried out on this property. That's why my sticker's on it, because I don't want my sticker to be on it and people go, this guy changed their fuse board. I really don't.
Yeah, and the problem with this as well is that there are some boards I come across that are shoddily installed that I might put a new circuit on. And when you put a new circuit into it, obviously you're supposed to stick the sticker on. And I think, I don't want to put my sticker on that board because my circuit's fine, but the rest of that board is shonky, the workmanship shit. I'm not being paid to tidy it up. So I violate that regulation that states you've got to stick a sticker on that, and I just like, no, I'm not putting my fucking name anywhere near that abomination. Thanks very much. They'll get the certificate, and I can put it as a departure on the certificate that I've not complied with the regulation that says you're going to stick that sticker on. But I've said that to my assessor before. I've said it gets ridiculous because you end up over stickerizing the board, don't you? If you keep on, if you make several changes, you can have multiple stickers all related.
It's what annoys me is you get a nice new clean fuse box board or any other brand that you want to use, nice and white and clean, and then we go and you can't see any white anymore.
I stick under the lid.
Yeah, I do try to, but the problem with
I think the 18th edition sort of cottoned onto that a little bit and has said domestically you don't
need to be visual.
I'll tell you what, the two colours label can go and take a flying fuck at a rolling donut, because we harmonised, what was it, 2005? If you don't know how to figure out the colours inside your CU, you shouldn't be in your CU. So
fact.
No more two coloured labels. That was another one that I
sack them off.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Do you want to read one? I've got a stupid. Here we go. Well, why don't you? This is from John Brain. Brain. I'm dyslexic. Brain.
Brain.
Got it right then. That's okay. Why don't you and Dave host a podcast with different guests each week?
That sounds like the Rusty Back Box.
It does. It does. Maybe one
I think
day.
the problem as well is it was getting hold of guests was another problem. Some people would say, "Oh yeah, I'll do that," and then when it came to the crunch, they backed out, and then you were trying to find someone else to do it.
That's the good thing about doing stuff with Monday Club and Sam and Kimmy and Craig and everything is Sam organises most of it. I just turn up.
Monday Club kind of ticks that box, doesn't it? I don't think you need us adding to that. I think Monday Club, Sam does a
covers
good job
all aspects.
Yeah.
I know some people have a bit of a thing with Sam and Diggs, but the people need to understand from when Sam has a joke with me, we're friends, like in the background anyway. So he can make all the digs he wants. He never offends me. It's always just a joke. I don't say anything at all or react because I know what he will do. If I react to it, he will put a big sound over my head saying triggered. That makes me worse. So I don't say anything. But Sam gets a lot of stick, but people need to just understand it's just a joke.
I got a lot of time for Sam. He cracks me up. I know a lot of people can get offended by some of his ways, but I just enjoy some of the phrases he comes out with.
Go on, you've got one for me, mate. Go on.
Me?
Yeah, go on. You have a go on Twitter.
I think it might have gone a bit quiet on Twitter. All right, here's one for the electrical Twitter community. What actually causes terminal screws to come loose over time? I've heard different explanations. Well, a lot of people have already answered that on Twitter. Multiple factors play a part, say Mark Allison, and he'd know.
Mark.
Thermal effects primarily driving it, harmonics and those pesky electrons doing naughty things. First choice, vibrations, temperature cycles causing copper to soften and yield, wild haggis causing mischief.
I've had one of the JL Electrical Services who can drink more. Dave. Dave can drink more. What of though? What of? Because I'm a good IPA drinker. I can sink a few. I never used to drink a lot. I played rugby, drank a lot, stopped playing rugby, started a family, didn't really touch it. And it's only because of COVID. It's sort of like, oh, I'll have a few. And it's sort of carried on from that way. But yeah, IPA my way. Punk IPA.
See, for me, it's quantity, not quality. I'm not after really getting pissed. I don't really want to have the hangover the next day. But I just do like to sit there with a jar or 12 and
or 12.
just do the yarn movement. Well, what was on last night? It's often lagery pish if I'm in a beer mood, or supermarket white wine is what was in here by the box, because instead of putting me having a bottle, I'll finish a bottle way too quick and be opening another one. So I may as well just get the box in. And that'll last a couple of nights probably.
Wow.
And or onto the spirits. And I tell you what, it's the summer that gets me. I can come off it. I can come off it for a good few weeks. But summer, the warm nights, I like to sit in the garden or visit the pub, and I don't mind breaking into the gin and tonics or the martinis, or it's
not for me.
Less
not for me. I used to drink a lot of, I would say a lot of whiskey.
And Coke.
Yeah, so JD or Jim Beam.
No, but again, it's not about the quality. I'll quite happily get an Aldi own brand Scotch mix.
See, from growing up, like we used to drink Carling, but the pub, it was called the Horns in Nosal, where I grew up, and the pints were just awful. And I always used to have a dash lemonade in every pint just to make it bearable, right? Because it was awful. And then when we used to sort of go to town with the rugby lads and my friends, I would just drink JD, because if I had too many beers, it's like you just bloat up and you walk around town like, oh, I don't want to. I want to go home now. I started having JD.
Well, I find
Coke,
that's one of the advantages of beer.
Oh, you just drink less.
Yeah, because you do end up at a point where you're like, it's probably way past the point that you should have stopped. There's a point where you're like, no, I've had enough now. I just can't physically take any more of this. I'm going to be pissing fizz for the rest of the night as it is.
I remember my first pint of Guinness. When I went to Ireland, obviously you meant to have a pint of Guinness, and I really enjoyed it. But it is different over here. I remember having one in the pub once.
I used to drink Guinness loads. I used to love Guinness, and we went to Ireland in 2019, and I
went in 2019 to Dublin.
No, I was over the other side. I was over Enniscrone, on the west side. Oh. It was during that we had a big heat wave in England in 2019, and I was on this windswept coast of Ireland in my anorak and hat, thinking, bloody hell, it's over 30 Celsius at home, and I'm getting rained on and blown out here. But I got absolutely wankered on Guinness over there, and I didn't really notice that much of a difference, to be honest. They say it doesn't travel, but I didn't notice too much different. But the trouble is, I had so much of it, I actually put myself off it. I got sick of it. It's the same thing happened with vodka. I drank so much vodka in the 90s in my youth that I just can't touch it now. It's just like, I've had one hangover too many on it, and I just can't face it anymore. But nothing, it's only vodka and Guinness that's happened to. All the other pish that I get through remains the same, but it's going to put me in a fucking early grave. It's going to.
Yeah, I got to one drink. I can't drink anymore. Well, you're not far off, then you carry on.
Don't do it, kids. I wish I'd never. I didn't drink when I was when I was a teenager. I didn't drink at all. It was only when I moved in with a bunch of lads, and they're like, "Oh, let's go down to the pub." And I was like, "I'm not really a drinker, actually, chaps." And yeah, with the months, I was like, "Rah!" And it's been the same ever since. And the amount of money and the amount of damage to my health it must have done. I mean, all this stuff hanging out here is probably my distended liver. I was saying to the wife, I'll keep it up until the sun.
The doctor says no.
And then I'll probably go and have some blood tests and just make sure I haven't really fucked myself.
Questions, right? JRC Electrical, what have you had for tea? I had a curry.
We had a sort of a Chinese style meal that the wife put together with pork, noodles.
Very electrical question. JRC's the guy I shouted on Instagram the other day. So he just got to 1,000 subscribers, followers, sorry, on Instagram, and she got him balloons and made him a cake and did everything. And this is when I was working away, and I thought, and I had probably 2 pints by this point. I was like, I had no tea. I was like, yeah. So I did a little Instagram story and shouted him out and saying, let's get him all to 2,000. I want to see how big the cake gets for 2,000. And he's just started a YouTube channel, actually. There's nothing on it yet because he was like, I've got Bosch to follow me. I want to do what you get. I want to get free stuff from Bosch. I was like, you need to start a YouTube channel then, mate. And he was like, all right, I've done it. I started a YouTube channel. So there you go, JRC Electrical. Go help him out.
Good luck, son.
Yeah.
Shout out. So I want to give a shout out to Linda, who's been with us on some work experience. Gaz from eFix will know Linda. She's had some contact with him before, but she did a week's work experience with us a fortnight ago, and apparently liked it so much she's back for another week. We haven't put her off, but she's not actually trained to be an electrician. She wants to get a job at a university, but she's putting her time to good use while waiting. Cool. For we've had a couple like that. We had a couple of people who rather than sitting around because of COVID putting their plans on hold, have sort of come out to gain a bit of learning and to experience the job. She's actually commuting from Sheffield, so she's staying here over the week and then going back. But she really knows her stuff, and it's quite impressive for someone who doesn't actually want to be an electrician to have a decent broad knowledge of like the testing, inspecting, what we should be seeing, and that sort of stuff.
That would sound like a weird question. How old is she then, roughly?
57, I think. Older than me.
So yeah, that's interesting because obviously we're getting a lot of younger girls at the moment trying to get into the trade.
I'm dead leg here.
It's your age, mate. It's the rickets. A lot of younger girls, like we've seen through. We've had Caitlin that's been on the podcast, who works for Quinergy. She's I think she just turned 18, 19, something like that. And obviously we've got Amy, who does a lot of stuff with me, and she's gone over recently done stuff with you, which we'll get to in a minute. I mean, there's loads of girls. We've got Summer, who's on the podcast as well. And there's loads of girls that I try and follow on Instagram. I'm so impressed with it because I couldn't imagine when I did college, 10 years ago, with a girl being on our course, of what lads were like back then. I've always been trying to be brought up respectful of the whole thing. We all have a laugh and a joke, but there's a time and a place for it, and we all know that.
Yeah.
But all the new girls that are joining on, and Kimmy and everyone's, showing off their stuff. And I think it's so nice. But I mean, we've still got people like, and when Amy came on my video the other day, she did a couple of jobs with us. She was local to us in Nottingham, and then she came over to staff and did a few things. And it was like, do we employ someone locally that I don't really know, but they can come give us a hand that works around the corner? Or not so much I want to give Amy a chance. I want to give her the exposure that the women in the trades deserve, for the all to see if she can do exactly what me and Adam can do, just as well, with a bit more time and practice, she would be just as good as me, time served and all that sort of stuff. But you've still got the people online. I had that many comments that I had to delete, or YouTube made me improve, of the makeup, the attitude, and some vile comments where people would make very stupid comments. There's a few left on there. The ones I left on there are okay. It was just common questions about different stuff and experiences they've had with women working on site, or their wives if they've worked with women on site, and all that sort of stuff, which is, I think, was a good debate to have. But unfortunately, there's still people out there that will write these absolutely pathetic, childish comments online where people are just trying to make the best for themselves, and they've got a, Amy wants to be an electrician. That's her passion. She wants to grow it, and you've got people online that are putting her down because she's a female. It's pretty. Well, I could be really rude and swear and go off on one completely, but it is just a sad, sad thing to do. And I really wish people would stop it, because it's actually stopping other people getting into the trade and following their passion.
I suppose there's a place for banter, but there's a line, isn't there, between what's harmless and good-natured and what can be taken, because the trouble is, when you read stuff, you don't always know the
context or the way it was said.
The way it's been supposed to be said. And I know what I mean, because I put on Twitter last week Amy had spent some time here. I'll tell you what, I was impressed by what she wanted to do, because here's another example of someone who she's had to leave her employer because they sounded like they were freaking awful, to be honest. The story she was telling me about them, I don't know how much I can say about that.
I don't think you can say much about that, but never mind.
No, I'm not going to go into specifics, but she sort of going in alone, and obviously when you do that, it takes a while for the work to get in, because you don't have.
Hence why she came on a few rewrites with us, because we wanted a hand, but equally I wanted Amy to come across. I wanted to, because she said she wants someone that she could, I really need to put this down, she wants someone that she can trust, that will show her how to do a job properly, which was really nice to hear from her saying to us, because I know hand on heart I can do domestic stuff. I'm good at what I do, and I can show her the right way. And that's when she said about testing. I said, I can show you the way to testing, but I said the best person to show you testing is the man on the screen next to me. Hence where that led from.
Yeah, I don't know about that, mate.
It is true. It is true.
But we had, well, I say we had fun. I hope she had fun. We were there. We put a lot of hours into playing with the stuff behind there. Just sort of seeing it in action and doing some demo fault finding and stuff. But there again, there's an example of someone who has the motivation. She's there going, well, I haven't got the work on at the moment. What am I going to do with my time? And she's happy to travel here, and have a play with this stuff.
Did you film this as well? Is it going to be a video?
We had the cameras rolling. I don't know how good it all is. There were some things I was looking back afterwards thinking, I should have done a different angle on that, because the camera sort of zoomed right out.
I know.
And you think, why didn't I get a handheld camera and get some more closer to that?
You could do with a little GoPro with a suction cup on the corner of the telly behind you, pointing down, bird's eye viewish almost.
I don't have a GoPro, mate.
I'll send you one. I've got loads.
I've got my ancient flip camera here, which is
So this is another thing I wrote down. Loads of people ask me what cameras we use. Loads of people, and I'm lucky enough that I've been able to afford quite a few different ones now, growing up. So, Dave, tell everyone your camera, Dave. It's older than me.
My cat, I don't know where it is at the moment, actually. My ancient.
You've got to wind it up to turn it on. It's like an old car. While Dave's off the screen, I might as well show you mine. So that's my new vlogging one.
I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
Hey, that's the new one that I bought to replace the GoPro. So that's my Sony ZV-1. And it's got like a little tripod that actually has a button so you can record on it. So I really like it. We've got depth of field. We've got a bit of zooming and everything. The only bad side compared to my GoPros is the stabilization isn't very good. So if I am doing this quite quickly, that does not like it very well. But if I was to do that with the GoPro, perfect. And then on the tripod behind me, because I'm off work at the moment, I'm going to be doing some filming in here. That's my Canon M50. It's mirrorless camera. I've got a small rig set up on it, big screen, wireless mics, and then I've got a couple of GoPros. But that's what I use to film very badly on site or in the unit. So that's in the unit. That's on site as well as GoPros. And then you've got Dave's. Go on.
I've got a second-hand Canon HF 100 from like 2008 with a wide-angle lens on it and a Rode wireless mic.
Oh, so you do have a wireless mic?
Oh yeah. I've got the well, that's half of it. That's the receiver. Yeah, I've had the Rode for a while now. I saw Dan at DSS using it on a video and thought, good
Well,
enough for him. Good enough for me.
yeah, we've got that one. Oh, I think it's up there somewhere. But I brought, just before I went to London, they brought the wireless Rode Go 2 mics. So they're a little bit more money, but it's got two, because the problem with them is I thought I could buy that and just buy a separate microphone for Adam, but that's not the case. So
No.
it's one receiver and you got two mics. So me and Adam can be hooked up separately. So whenever I make a sly dig at him, or I say, Adam, can you do this? I'll get him mumbling in the background going, and I'll catch it now.
You've really got to spend the money on the mics. I bought
240 quid they were. They were expensive.
I bought a 2-channel one from Amazon, and Nigel and I each had one, and I recorded video, and it just shut off partway through.
Oh.
But the Rode, absolutely solid, good battery life as well. But it goes to show, because people have asked me before, oh, you do stuff on YouTube, what setup do you have? And it goes to show, you don't need to spend loads of money.
No. This all makes me laugh. This, when I very first started, and this is one of the things going back to JRC Electrical, with, I think this is what he asked me, unless it was someone else, with setting up a YouTube channel. Jordan obviously did a thing saying every electrician needs to have a YouTube channel. I agree with that to a point. I think it's great to build up a portfolio of the work, how you work, what you do, but you need to have also a bit of professionalism with, I would say, if you were trying to show, like I do with my work off, try not to swear, try and be semi-professional. I know I wear stupid hats, but you know what I mean? Try and do it the way you would be on site with the customer. Not like Dave, he wouldn't walk in and start going to a customer, but Dave's is a different type of channel. But what Jordan was getting at is set a channel up to promote your business. But that's why I started a GoPro Hero. I just had a GoPro Hero 3, an old one that I had. And I did the first 12 videos of YouTube on this. This is what I had lying around for years. And I said 10 videos, now buy a new one. So then I bought the GoPro Hero 7, because at that point I became monetized on YouTube, and I did my first 70, 80 quid or whatever it was on it. And I was like, I'll put that towards it. And obviously it's just built up and up and up from them, but you don't need it. And Chris, CGR, a lot of his videos, he shoots them on his phone.
Yeah.
So, and we've all got a phone.
You get some people criticize you for the unprofessionalism of your filming. I remember in some of my early videos, I had one right stuck up prat who was moaning about the amateurness of the recording. It's like, well, I'm not a filmmaker, mate. I'm an electrician with a camera. What do you expect? It's not Hollywood. And when I defended myself about how I was filming it, and then they had to go at me about for using the term filming, because I'm not recording on film; it's digital. I'm like, it depends on whether you're looking at it as the verb or the noun, doesn't it? But I think you find it in the dictionary that you're still filming something, even if it's not going onto physical film. You pedantic bastard.
Well, that's what we get. But yeah, so
don't need lots of money. Audio is the biggest problem, I think.
Yes.
Because it's easy to get decent video. You don't need an expensive camera. You can do it on your phone. The big problem is audio, and people are always moaning about.
It's
audio.
the worst thing. You can deal with a shaky camera every now and then, but if you come, it's
dropping in and out
painful.
every time you move the camera around or whatever.
But this is the thing with GoPros: is the audio is quite crap by itself. So on the GoPros, you've got a tiny little microphone here, but then you buy the mod kits. So that slots into that. And that itself is 120 quid, which is a rip-off. Yeah. That has a big external mic, but then this allows you to have what Dave's got, the Rode mic to plug in. So you have to buy this and then the Rode mic to use it on this. Honestly, GoPro's a rip-off.
Yeah, well, it's, for some videos now, I've started running it through a levelator. Do you do that? No. There's a free one. Let me just click on my screen here. I'll tell you what it's called. You can download it. Oh, I can't remember it. Oh yeah, Conversions Network Levelator. And when I finished editing the video together, I'll save an audio file of the audio, because that can be a bit up and down, especially if you use different mics. And you might be using the Rode mic out in the field and then doing some overdubbing via the desk mic. And they've got different characteristics, and it all sounds one bit sounds tinny and the next bit sounds loud. But if you extract the audio and then run it through this levelator software, which is free, then it will equalize it. automatically, and then you could import that equalized audio back into your video to export the whole lot. It all gets a bit complicated. It's all a bit of a process. I get what Jordan's saying about everyone should have a YouTube channel. Again, I don't agree with that, because a lot of people just aren't made for this sort of thing. Not just blow our own trumpets. There'll be plenty of people out there who think we're not made for it.
Do a way better job than we could. I know.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think everyone should have a website these days. There's really no excuse for not having a website.
And I do think a lot of people should have an Instagram. An Instagram page goes with wonders.
And you can pick or choose on your social media. I mean, I'm not on Facebook and I don't touch it with the shittiest of sticks, but I am on Insta, kind of. I say more on Twitter, really. I much prefer Twitter myself, but you have your preferences. And it's good to be on social media in one way, shape, or form, because that gives you,
because that's the first place customers go.
First
place customers go and find you.
Even if people just want to check that you're legitimate and you're not just someone who's out to rip them off, and if they can see, that you're posting stuff and you're posting examples of your work, you're talking about your day. I mean, again, I'm fairly sweary on my output, which I wouldn't recommend to anybody else, really. But I'm old.
Depends what way you want to go with it. It depends what direction you want to take your channel in. It's when we all started, and you were probably the same. You have no idea if it's going to go anywhere, if people are going to watch. You'll always get now. Now there's enough. When I started, Dave was already established. You had Dan was already established. Tom was already established. Jordan was there, but he was quite low. And
I liked him.
Yeah, little cute Jordan. But when I started off, it was just like I remember I put one of my. I commented on one of your videos and said, I want to start a channel. What do you think? And Dave's advice, he come back to me and said, and I was like, mother off. I was going, oh my God, this YouTuber. Babe, come look at this. This YouTuber. It's just comment me back. I didn't even come mother off, babe, don't know why I said that. And it was just like, do it, give it your all, but just be very wary of the hate you will get, because there's a lot of nasty people out there. Also, there's a lot of nice people out there. So take it on the chin, carry on, mate. That was pretty much the gist of things, wasn't it?
I can't remember. I just wish I advised you to carry on.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here right now.
I should say, no, God, no, don't do it. Don't do it, Nick.
Yeah, take that stupid out first if you're going to start doing it. But I can't remember what point I was getting to.
Fuck if I know, mate.
I can't remember. Oh, yeah, starting a channel. Yeah, so you can start anywhere, but I had no idea where my channel was going to go. I didn't know if it was going to go anywhere. And when it started to, my first couple of videos, I used to swear. I knew how to react. And if you go back to my very early ones, you'll see me getting this on-site guide out or the regs book out. And when I was doing stuff, I was showing people why I was putting the clips this far apart on an armor cable, and I was showing the reg numbers. Now, unfortunately, I don't do that. I don't feel like I have to. But back then, you have to prove yourself to get somewhere. But now we have a very big network of electricians on YouTube. Some are the bigger guys like us lot. You got middle tier, and you got some of the smaller guys that just started off that are building their channels. If you create a channel now, you will already have a basis of electricians that will already watch all of us, and not just the lower, top, middle, or whatever. They will watch all of us. So if you start a channel, you're guaranteed a bit of an influx of people giving their opinions and helping you out, and we can all share. Because I always try and share with people's channels. Dave's done it in the past with me, Chris. Everyone's trying here to help each other, because it's not a competition. As much as I say it's a competition between me and Chris and Tom, it's not, because I'm losing. But it's a cool little community. So if you want to do it, just have a little plan in your head of what direction you want to take it in. Do you want to try and go down the route of, and do take this one word of advice, which I got told, not from a YouTuber, but from someone that I watched. Don't start YouTube if you're after it to make money, because you will make the wrong content. Do it because you want to try it out and do it as a hobby and enjoy it. And if it leads somewhere, that's fantastic. But don't go in straight away going, I see RJ Electrical. I want sponsorships. I want money. I want this. I want that. Because unfortunately, you'll end up leading yourself down the wrong path. And
I absolutely agree with that. I think that those who come to it thinking, this is a way to get free stuff.
Everyone likes a bit of free stuff.
Right reasons, and you need to. I think those who have a a passion for it and are showing good work and giving good advice, they're the ones who are going to get the free stuff. So it's not just a case of I am here now, give me stuff and I will show it. You've got to actually have an audience who wants to see you using it first.
Yeah. So just have a think about it. I mean, I would say give it a go. There is absolutely nothing to lose. I was said before in my other videos, the lowest point in my life at that time, and I had nothing to lose. I thought, why not? Let's give this a bit of a go. And it gave me a kick up the arse. And now look where we are. I'm sat next to a very old man that drinks too much. Ask some questions.
So I always when I started this, I always thought it would just be a good way to showcase my work for people in the area. I never expected anyone outside of my little patch of dirt.
Can I ask a favour? Because I went back through your channel the other day because I was trying to find. Someone asked me on Instagram about the brother printer video. Because I had a brother printer, the E550W, fantastic printer. Anyone out there for any electricians, banging printer, it really is. I bought this years ago when they first came out. Paid 180 quid, top whack. I thought this is great. I had no idea it could connect to your phone until one of Dave's videos popped up, and I was like, wow. I was messing around with all the settings, and a guy said to me, "How do you do the fuse board stickers?" I said, "Go to Dave's video," and I linked it and sent it across to him. So Dave, you owe me a bit of money anyway. And it was your New Tool Tuesday videos that you used to do. They used to do a video every Tuesday, New Tool Tuesday, and would show off all this stuff.
It was frequent. It was if I haven't had something to talk about, a new toy.
They were so much fun. And I keep thinking I want to do something. I want to replicate that in a certain way.
You're gonna
almost like buy it and just I'm turning into Jordan, stealing people's ideas. That's it. That's it. But yeah, we should have a look into that, because I put something on my YouTube channel last night saying, can some people give me ideas for some unit videos? Because long story short, when this comes out, I've done my backing. I'm meant to be off work for a month, so I've asked people. So any videos I can do in the office here or in the unit would be greatly appreciated. And a few people come back with quite a few nice little ideas. If you go across the community tab, you'll be able to see it. But there's just so many different variations of what people want. So they want a tool show, but I know full well, and obviously we want to make videos that will get a decent amount of views. I don't know what you're like, Dave, but if someone gives me a video and says, can you do another tool review or a toolbox tour? I've done that many, and every other electrician's done that many. You're not going to get many views at all. So we sort of steer away from that until it's past its time, as years pass, and we can bring the video back. I've learned this now. But then you get some videos where could be bangers. I've got one coming out soon, and the clickbait title is Adam, is this a sackable offence for The Apprentice? And it's a good thumbnail, it's a good title, and there's a good bit in it where there's a questionable bit where I want people to answer honestly, but I know that will draw people in. I don't want to do too much clickbait stuff. I know Chris, if he watches this, he knows he does it, and everyone knows he does it, but it works for Chris, and everyone's got their different system and ways of doing things. But at the end of the day,
if you're going to do a video, I don't think you should worry about how many people are going to watch it. I think you do it because you want
to start with. Yeah, not to start. And I'm on about myself in a different boat here. When a lot of the times when I got the unit, I would actually invest in videos. So I bought the cable stripper. That was 350 quid. Right. It's a very good tool, but I wanted to make sure that if not one video or two, but in 3 videos time, it would almost, the ad revenue would pay for it, if you know what I mean. So I'm not out of pocket because it was an expensive machinery really that I didn't need. And luckily enough, the video got 100,000 views very quickly and it paid for itself, no problem. But it's stuff like that working out in the background of how much time and effort I'm going to spend on this video when I could be at work earning X amount being a spark. I'm actually sat in the unit earning no money whatsoever, doing a video on a tool bag again. Do you know what I mean? I've got loads more questions, mate, but I've got loads from Simon Bryan Electrical. Electric van, yay or nay?
I would love one, but the trouble is I do like to carry an awful lot of stuff with me. I've got the high top transit, and it's packed to the rafters, because most of my work is in quite a rural-ish area. It's all small market towns around here. All the wholesalers are clustered together at one point, bar SRM, who are on the other side of Warwick. And if you're out and about and you need a Type 2 Fanaka plank, well, it's good to just carry a little stockroom on the van that happens to have them. I think I know that I was looking at Professional Electrician and they were on about a new hybrid transit. I think it was like 20 grand more, and they were claiming.
Remember the one we looked at?
Yeah, they were claiming something like
That was a
35
hybrid.
miles on the electric. But once you've got me and Nigel with our fat asses in there, and all
Van volts,
gear in the
2
back,
van volts.
yeah, it ain't going to cover 35 miles. They always exaggerate what your EV mileage is or what your miles per gallon is, and for that extra 20k, it's just not there. It's just not there.
It's a lot of money.
This van NV200, it's a small van. If you work with a small van, then maybe we've got an electric car, of course. We've got the Leaf, and the whole problem with that, of course, is it doesn't have a great range because it's an older EV. We'll look to change that out in the next 3 years, I think, for something that's got a better range, something, because the technology is moving on all the time.
Yeah, it's very quickly. Every year it's getting better and better.
Stuck with the diesel for now, and I guess you are as well, Nick. I've just had to pay 75 quid road tax for it.
Well, mine runs out this month as well. I got a letter through the other day. Obviously, I've only had mine a year, so I said probably 2 years, and then Adam will be qualified then. And by that point, I will give him that van and I'll get a new one, or we'll see what happens. It's just, I think I won't get an electric van realistically for 6, 7, 8 years until I can go, it does what my normal van does now, but better. I can't see why I would replace it unless it's either cheaper or it makes my life easier.
And there is the odd journey as well. I mean, I know we stick to local, very local jobs, and we're just buzzing around the same sort of few streets most of the time. We don't tend to venture too far afield, but you get that odd one where you have to go that little bit further.
When you went to Birmingham, was it?
Birmingham, I think, was it Lichfield we went to? Was that near you?
You went Lichfield near me, but I was on up to a customer, and that was it. The customer I was working for in London absolutely adores you. He thinks you're hilarious, but he was laughing at the video of you. I think it's when you went to Brum and you put like gunshot sounds in the background. You and Nigel.
There was no editing there, mate.
Oh, okay. My bad. My apologies.
that was just Birmingham. But yeah,
mate,
so you get the odd call that's a bit further out of field, and yeah, that's what I don't want is range anxiety on the van. I don't want to feel like, oh Jesus.
That's what Jordan had, wasn't it? From his Tesla. Yeah, he ran out. I didn't watch the video. But I think someone told me about. I know we got a lot of stick on Instagram, but not only messing around from people. No one being actually horrible, but yeah, it was he went to do an EV install or something. Went there, and then his car went flat or something, or was flat there and couldn't get back until he plugged it in for 2 hours. Something like that. It was very funny, but yeah, it's life is life. But it's coming. No, it's not going to come on any videos. I put it on Instagram. The customer that I was working for in London, it was a subscriber, got us off there and everything. His name's Gary, and I didn't see it till the last day, but Kip had gone home. My cameraman, a subscriber, Kip, he was commenting on loads of your stuff as well in the past day.
Oh yeah, I know, yeah. I'm aware of his work.
Yes, and
I subscribe to his channel.
Same. There we go. Did you see the BG video he did?
No,
BG
I haven't.
USB double socket blew up. Anyway.
Oh yes, no, I did. I'll tell you why, because that happened to me as well, and I actually did a video about it about 2 or 3 years ago. Then realised John Ward had already done one. I was like, oh well,
never mind. Well, what I'll do on this video at the bottom, I'll put a link to Kip's video. It's a BG USB double socket had actually blown up in the wall and hadn't tripped anything. But my customer, Kip had gone home on the Thursday, and the last day was Friday, and I had a few little bits to do, fuse board, and a cupboard under the stairs. I opened the cupboard under the stairs. The customer had put a picture of Jordan's face and said, I've got 73 or whatever it was, 73k subs. Ha ha ha. And I'll put a picture on the screen of it. And I was just like, I can't go anywhere without being reminded by it. And a customer's in the back, you can see him right around the corner of the door watching me open it. And he was absolutely wetting himself. I was like, fair. But Adam's took it out and he's pinned it to the bulkhead of the van. So every time I get in it, I have to look at him. I was like, oh, wow. This is a very long podcast. Go on, one more question your end, mate, and then I think we'll wrap it up, yeah?
I don't think I've got any more on the old Twitter sphere.
Maybe not.
No. There's,
I got loads on Instagram, but most of them are very inappropriate, if I'm honest.
people don't want to
Here's
talk to
one.
us.
Would you ever work with a fan that's also an electrician? So would we? I've had people ask me all the time, can I come work with you for a day? Can like Amy does with us. I'm friends with Amy. We sort of the first time we met was from Monday Club, and then she came with Sam on Fat Sam's Grand Slam thing up in the truck, work with us for a day. But she doesn't live that far from us. She's only about half an hour away. So that's why it's quite handy when we need jobs and hands-on jobs and whatnot. She can help. We can promote her. She can show her stuff off to us. You know, it kind of works quite well. But yeah, I would happily work with, you know, subscribers that are electricians, but it's finding the right job that the customer allows. Empty houses are the best. Empty rewires are the best because we can stand and have a chat. We can mess around. We can look in each other's vans. We can play with each other's tools. Hand tools. That's where I was going with that. But yeah, absolutely. But it's finding the location, because a lot of the guys live miles away from me. So I get some guys that are 3 hours away. Can we come work for you for a day? It's just sort of not feasible.
I think, I don't mind taking people out for work. We've done work experience for years, long before YouTube. I had people contact me privately, often people who are undergoing retraining, people at college saying, can we experience some time out on the van? That's fine. I don't mind it. Don't mind short stints of it. The only thing you got to bear in mind, I think, though, is that what you see, the snippets you see on YouTube are just short, short parts of the day that have been edited together.
What Dave means by that is everything you see him film, he's standing up. When the camera's turned off, he's sat down doing nothing. That's that. Or they go sit in the van and have another sandwich, a sardine sandwich.
Well, there's the job to do, and most of the time we're just getting on and cracking on doing it. So I think some people think that we're perhaps a bit of a laugh to go out with. We're really not. We're quite focused on just getting our working day done and getting out. And we don't say 3 words to each other when we're sat in the van. It's just smell each other's farts, and that's about it. So you know, it's. I remember someone came out with us, and I think they assumed that they would perhaps be entertained in their time with us, and probably weren't. Not because we were able to sort of answer their questions and give them advice and show them what we were doing and that sort of stuff. But it was very much, our day is very much about getting the job done, not.
Well, that's what you, yeah.
And yes, there are some videos that you film where you are messing about and having a laugh, but you don't do that all day, every day. That's
you
just
never get paid.
You have to come across the job and think, oh, let's film that. That might be interesting for other people to watch. And as part of that, you might mess around, but most of the time it's work.
People need to understand as well, because when Kip came up to film us, and when Amy came, or when Sam came up, I want to get to know these people as much as they want to get to know me. Like, it's not like oh, Nick, I'm subscribed to you, let's go. And I want to know who you are. I want to know backstories, what you like, what you dislikes, of history, like just bits and bobs, so we can get a bit of a rapport going, and then we can get into chatting. And then when it turns into all this stuff, we end up potentially using 2 hours of the working day just getting around the initial chit chat. And this is what happened with Kip in London. First day on Monday, the customer was there, Kip was there, we were all chatting, having a good laugh, having a brew, and before you know it, like 2 hours had gone, and we were like, we have literally got no work done. And if there's not a time constraint, it's a little job, and we've got the whole day on it, not really a problem. But when we've got a big ass job to do, my main priority is getting that job done. But I would like to book and try and do stuff at some point. I know you're going to try and get over to Coventry at Elex. I've said I'm going to go probably on the 16th, which is the Thursday, I think, because Coventry's around the corner from you. Whether you like it or not, you're going, because I'll come pick you up so I know where you live.
I don't know.
Dave in the back of the van.
I might go. Yeah, we'll see.
He will go, everyone, don't worry. I don't have a choice. If not, I'll take Nige off him.
Yeah, Nige hates it.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah.
Even though he's paid to walk around and look at tools,
so's Adam, to be honest. Yeah, so's Adam. Yeah. But I've got quite a few things coming up, and it's cool because I said it in a video. Adam's going to try and start putting some more stuff on his channel. He is the only electrical apprentice in the UK that I know of that has a channel that is confident enough to explain what he's doing, be competent in his understanding of what he's saying. Sometimes he messes up. Well, I do it as well. You do it as well in some of your videos, surge protection video. No, nothing.
No, I got distracted by James the electrician, who's surprised to see your hair because normally you're wearing a hat in the picture that I put on Twitter.
Oh, brilliant. I don't even know what you put on Twitter. I'll have a look in a minute. But I'm now getting phone calls for me, for Adam. Companies want to do stuff with Adam and go, really? Nick, I've not got, can you just pass the phone over? And I get,
pimp him out, boy.
Adam, it's for you. And he's like, oh, okay. And he'll wander, and I know how annoying it is now. He just wanders off in the background. And I'm like, oh, I'll carry on working then. And I now know how he feels. It's awful. But it's great. And I'm really chuffed for him. And it's getting him somewhere where he can get his foot in the door, work with a few different companies. Not that he needs any free stuff because he gets it all from me anyway, but a bit more exposure, a bit, I don't know. It's just odd. It's this world that we're in with YouTube and people wanting us on the front covers of magazines like you and me, Dave, you know what I'm saying? He's going to get it.
Back.
Oh, you're such a dick. I just never said anything. No, because it's such a bad. Do you know, I was so annoyed with it. I've got like black stickers. Look, I put a black sticker over mine here, so to hide. You see it. Yeah, no, it's been a good chat, mate. We definitely should do this again with questions because I'm sure if we actually organise this properly, we could get a handful of very good questions.
Yes, we'll try and give more notice next time. It was just a last minute idea, wasn't it? But yeah, I think I like this format of answering.
It's handy, isn't it? Like you say, I'll put some of the clips will be on my main channel. We'll come across. We'll put all the links to your stuff, and yeah, we'll put some in the background.
Live one day, a live one.
Yes. Yeah. So let us all know below if you want me and Dave to actually do a live stream together, which will be on Dave's video, so he can swear all he wants.
You're going to edit out my bad language today?
No. The clips that I take off for the main channel, I will either bleep or put a train noise or something over it, but sparks fly doesn't matter. Yeah, fact. Any last final words, mate?
No, it's been a thoroughly enjoyable chat, old chap. And I look forward to playing with that new MK gear. I'll have to get hold of some. I just place a screw picks all the night as well.
Yeah, screw picks. They're not that. To be fair, for the price of them, I don't think they're that bad. 5 sockets for 25 quid, it doesn't sound great, but for a little mess around, and I'm trying to think of ways and ideas that I could use it in the unit and set on fire and burn it and don't know, make Adam catch it with his teeth or something. The socket, that is. But I'm sort of fresh out of ideas at the moment. But yeah, thanks all for watching, and we will see, both of us will see you at some point soon, and keep an eye out for the live stream. Ciao for now.